Welcome to Driving to the Res with
Larry
and Inelia. And here we are, back in the truck, driving to the res. We have a cop who's been following us for about half an hour now.
Yep, and we're not afraid of him. We have white privilege.
White privilege, yes.
Although
we were stopped once, and the cop said, "We're trying to get you people to slow down."
Yes,
and I said, "Excuse me, did you just
people?
call us you people? What do you mean? You Indians?" And I said, "Did you just say that?" He said, No, I did not say that.
I did not racial profile you.
I did not racial profile you.
But you people need to slow down.
Yes. I think our feathers gave us away, man.
Yeah. Now we have crystals.
Yeah. I don't know how they can tell that we were Indian.
Well, you look Indian, honey. And I am Indian.
You are Indian, I look it. I am Indian too, excuse me very much.
I didn't say you weren't. I said you look it.
Yes, I do. I do my best.
You're more Indian than me.
Yes, I'm definitely more Indian than you. Genetically, not necessarily culturally, but genetically for sure.
Yeah. And I definitely got my card and you don't.
I don't have my card. I could get one, but it doesn't mean anything here in the States. I can get my Mapuche card from Chile. I checked it out. If you're Chilean, you can get your Mapuche card if you want it.
I think you should get it.
You have to identify which tribe you're in. And I can't pronounce the name of mine, but it's in the south of Chile, near Osorno. So there.
Well, we can put our camper on the back of our truck. I think that we can somehow get our truck across the Panama Canal and just drive our butt down
unfortunately, there's an area in Central America, or maybe the top of South America, that you cannot go across. So you can't actually take a car across and drive it all the way.
Okay, well, we can go to somewhere in the middle of South, whatever place you have where the road starts. I saw a YouTube channel. These boys went down there and they bought Honda 50 motorcycles or something like that in the grocery store.
Did you know that my very first motorbike when I was 16 years old in England was a Honda 50cc?
I guess I did.
It was a racing one too. It's nice.
I guess I did on a psychic way. Remember?
And my second one was a 100cc when I turned 17.
And our first albums was the same one, both of us.
My God, the first album, the record that we bought.
First album
that we both bought as kids.
The Wall.
The Wall by Pink Floyd.
Yes. I bought mine on CD though. That should tell you how long it took for me to actually buy it.
Oh my God, really? No, I got the long play.
I thought when I was
they call them long play, honey, not albums.
Okay, well, whatever's.
LP.
I thought music was bad because I was a nerd and I only did one thing, which was study.
I was a nerd and I studied, but I wrote music and I never went to school.
Yeah, well, you were trained in music when you were young.
Yes, I was a musician.
I wasn't. But we still bought the same first album.
I know, isn't that amazing?
Yep, that's amazing.
Yeah, totally amazing.
So I also psychically figured something else out the other day, remember?
What was it? What was it?
Oh man, I don't remember.
Yeah, it was really interesting.
It was really
interesting. I thought something and you said it.
And it was totally off the wall, on the roof.
Totally, on the roof, yes.
Where shall we put the bathtub? And I said,
the roof.
On the roof.
And that's exactly where I was going to put it.
Who puts the bathtub on the roof?
I was thinking we should put this bathtub in the roof so you have great views when you're having a tub. And then
I was not thinking that. I was saying, that's the most unlikeliest place I could think. The roof. That's what I thought. Let's put it on the roof.
And I thought, what? I can't believe you just said that. That's exactly what I was thinking. I was thinking we should put this on the roof because then we'll have great views from there when we're having a tub.
So I do believe sometime in the not so distant future we'll have a roof and a tub on it.
Probably. That'll be fun.
Speaking of tubs on the roof.
Okay.
We had a topic that we were interested in talking about.
Yeah, what was it?
The origins of The
human race.
Yeah,
origins.
Why? Are humans
origins.
So, I mean, you plop whoever you are, in the middle of...
I've been writing about the origin of the human race since I was 14 years old.
Oh, really?
Yes.
And which book is that?
Oh, it never got published.
Oh.
But I do have the first chapter. My brother found it in some box from my mum's house.
Okay.
And he sent me the first chapter. He couldn't find the rest of the book, but he found the first chapter. So I'm going to write it again, obviously. I remember what the story, how it goes. We can think of it as the second or maybe 10th. No, it was probably the second or third draft. So, yes, I've been talking about the origin of the human race since I was 14 years old, putting it into so-called novels and science fiction. But actually, it's very accurate.
You never let the fiction get in the way of the fact.
No, I don't let that happen.
But you do allow the fiction to tell the story.
Yes, I do. So, yes, as you were saying, if you put a human being in the middle of anywhere on Earth with no cell phone, no clothes, no people around them, they're gonna die.
There's a few outliers, who have a serious amount of training.
Yes, but the regular person, in the middle of the woods, desert, Antarctica, wherever, man, a mountain, beach, doesn't matter.
If they don't get some help pretty soon, they're probably going to die.
Yeah, very likely.
But if you put...
a dog.
Or you put...
A cat.
Brad, literally, if we just never ever went home, Brad would be perfectly fine.
Brad is our cat.
He's our cat. He would be just as fat and happy and have figured out a way to get in and out of the house. He probably would figure out how to let himself out eventually, right?
Yes, he would. He'd figure it out.
Yeah, he would have no problem. Not at all. So that tells you one thing. Either we've evolved to the point where we can't survive on our own planet, or we might not come from this planet.
Yeah. We're the only animals who have to wear clothes because either it's too cold, too hot, too wet, too dry.
To everything. Can't go out in the sun. The sun will burn you to death. Can't go out in the cold. You'll freeze to death. Back in the day, they still wore skins. They still made clothes out of cedars, but and whatever hides, things like that, because it should tell you something there, right there. You can't even exist unless you put somebody else's fur on you.
Yeah, another person's skin on you, so that you can live.
So,
bear skin, wolf skin, sheep.
Is there any other beast on the planet that requires somebody else's skin in order to survive? Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
But not every...
Wait. I did think of one.
Okay, what?
The crabs. The little crabs. They take
hermit crabs.
Yes, they take the shells from other creatures.
Yes, they do. Discarded shells.
Yes.
They take discarded shells.
They do. They take discarded shells.
Not many animals discard their skin for us, because snake skins shedded don't seem to do the trick. But yeah, I get the point. Which does lead to the next question, which would be, are all those animals from here?
Related to crabs.
Hermit crabs?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe.
Are all animals from here? No. No.
Why are we the only ones that can't survive here?
Not all animals are from here.
I suppose the Aboriginals in Australia, they manage, right?
I don't know, not anymore, but maybe at some point in the past they did. I mean, you can say it, but you can say that.
But it's not the same as thriving. It's just it's existing at a level of, I mean, for them,
you can
perfectly fine.
You can think about people in the jungles of Brazil. They still don't have houses and stuff, but they still need. They don't thrive. They don't take over Brazil.
Right.
They do wear some type of stuff sometimes, not always. But yeah, so put them in somewhere else on the planet and they'll die.
Oh yeah, good point. If you take those ones and stick them in the desert.
That's what I was going to say about animals, It's like if you put a polar bear in the desert, sure he's going to die.
Yep, that's a good point.
So the animals were brought here and placed in specific locations where they will thrive. Right?
Okay.
Or maybe they were put everywhere and then they only survived.
They only survived in the places where they didn't die?
Yes.
Okay. Well, roundabout anyway. Humans aren't exactly indigenous to the planet. This
No,
human
not.
sapien stuff.
Yes.
The body that you exist in right now.
Mm-hmm.
There are other ones that maybe were more suited or not. I don't know. They all died off, so maybe not. Huh?
Right. Well, Sasquatch, they're still around,
Yeah.
and they have their own fur. They don't need clothes or tools and anything. And they live in just about lots of different climates around the
Oh
world.
yeah, mountaintops to deserts to Ohio to
Yeah,
near
but they're
the-
not human. They're
No,
not
they're
human.
not human
They're
beings.
humanoid, but they're not human.
True. So, tell us about the origins of humans then.
So, first of all, one thing to take into consideration, and this is something I talk in the Earth Files and also The Return, both novels, is that Earth is not the only place where humans live. So humans have colonized and have lived and still live in thousands and thousands and thousands of planets around the universe. They're
Maybe
very
even
prolific.
millions, huh?
Yeah, probably.
Probably millions.
Probably millions, yeah. They're very
Undoubtedly
prolific
millions.
and they're very united. And they're very high frequency. So, the reason why we think we are unique and alone is because of the experiment in separation called the upside down paradigm. Light dark paradigm.
Light dark paradigm. The ultimate experience of separation. Yes, come here.
Yes.
So
And-
separate you don't even think there are anybody else.
So, some people wanted to experience it, see what it was like. And
That
they
would
did.
be us, right?
Yeah, that's us.
We're here.
We're here.
You're here too.
So, well, my experience of separation is not the same as yours.
Well, I'm not saying you. I meant those people listening.
Oh, okay.
I know you're not. You're a wild card, babe. You didn't
Looks
come
like
here
it's
to
separate from
experience
everybody
separation.
else.
You didn't come here for a journey of anything.
I haven't felt separation in my entire life, actually. It's like everybody on the planet's in my head all the time. What can I say?
Yes.
Yes. I remember when I was little and this guy came into to see us, and he came into the living room and he was talking to my mum and I was looking into his hearing everything. He was hearing and feeling whatever. So my mum looks at me and she shouts, "Stop reading that man's thoughts. Don't look at that man's mind. Stop it." She said it out loud and he was like, "Woo!" Because obviously there were things that he was thinking about my mom.
Oh, true.
And as a young, tiny little 4-year-old, I shouldn't be aware of those thoughts, right? But for me, it was like Tuesday because every single adult on the planet was thinking those thoughts. I didn't know there was anything different or separate or whatever or wrong with it.
Everybody has that thought.
Yeah, everybody else. All the adults on the planet have those thoughts all the time. So anyways, not exactly separation for me. I've tried it. I've tried to separate as much as I could. I've failed miserably at it. But yeah, everybody else that I know definitely has an illusion of separation going on. But apart from that and the level of death, you know, the how fast the physical bodies die here,
Yeah,
and
that's
you get
a good
reborn
point.
over and over again, that's pretty unique.
Keeping them no adults, all children.
Making them, they're all infantile humans here on this planet. So that's pretty unique. That's pretty unusual. And but yeah, so the origin of the human species is not this planet, and it's lost within time-space really, because humans are everywhere in the universe, as are other humanoid species, and one has to think of that level of the origin of the humanoid. Okay, the origin of the humanoid species, because they all have the same origin, otherwise they wouldn't look the same, right? And they do. The one head, 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 eyes, 2 ears, opposable thumbs. So yeah, the origin of the humanoid species. And what makes a human human is the joining of a soul and a humanoid body that makes a human being. And this planet was marked for soul colonization.
Yes.
And it's pretty much taken over by soul beings in human bodies. So, not to say that others humanoids or other humans don't have souls, they do, but they don't have the rest of the things, like the illusion of separation and that type of thing.
So, humans on Earth, where did they come from? Are they all from the same place? Because they all look...
No,
I mean,
they're not from the same planet.
honestly, we started out with the racial... Was it racial profiling?
Yes, we started with racial profiling.
So, people do look different.
They
Just
do.
saying. They
They're
do
genetically
seem
different.
to prefer certain climates.
Uh-huh.
And I noticed even
Foods,
some
they
people
thrive
whose
in
bodies
different
are
foods.
not necessarily matching all their other bodies, they still prefer that climate. Like, they must have just had a previous life there or something.
Right. But also their preferences
Or their soul
for
is
food and everything is
foods,
different.
right? The spices,
Yeah.
what makes...
They thrive
makes you
with
feel
different
good.
things.
Yeah. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
When some people finally get a taste of their food, whatever that food is, even if they've never been exposed to that, just the first time they get it, like, oh my God, I've been looking for this my entire life, this taste, this flavor, this something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it must have been, my physical body must have been Italian at some point then.
Yeah, she really loves her spaghetti.
Artichokes and spaghetti, man.
That's it.
I can live on that.
If you ever ask her, what do you want for dinner? The
Say
answer is
that.
always the same.
Spaghetti or artichoke.
Yes. Anyway.
Anyways, humans.
So did all humans come from the same place at the same time, or do they get
No.
plopped onto planet in different places at different times?
And sometimes taken back to...
And sometimes picked up again and then brought back again to get readjusted. And cool. Same one group of humanoids bringing them, or different groups bringing different groups?
Yeah, so different types, different human colonies in different planets have brought their people here to have experiences of separation.
Oh,
They also all volunteer, by the way.
oh absolutely.
And,
Nobody gets dropped off on Earth because
yeah.
they don't want to be here.
But also, this is a planet with a great opportunity for different humans from different planets to commingle and to see what happens, right?
So if you want to join a different collective of humans, here's
Yes.
a place to have an experience of that. Because it's not a monoculture of human.
Exactly. That's why, inevitably, we tend to travel all around the planet. We tend to marry people of different races, and we tend to have children who have many, many races nowadays in their DNA. And that's quite unique.
Quite an interesting experience of separation, bringing about unification.
At least at a genetic level.
Oh yeah, at a genetic level. Brilliant, really. Brilliant. Seems like a trick.
Yes.
So multiple humanoid races of non-terrestrials brought multiple examples of their human to the planet at multiple times.
Yes.
And when I was reading this book, I read a book called Alteringa. Have you heard that word before?
Yes. Alteringa is about...
Some kind of stone.
Yes. And, yes, so this people... I think they said they were from the Pleiades and they had in a ship that was multidimensional or something and crashed crystal ship, and they were when came here they got shot down.
Yeah, because
even
they
though
told
there were going to be a colony here or something.
Because a prior group of people who came to the planet and enslaved the planet's population was told that they couldn't do that anymore, and they were kind of like going to come here and not enforce, but bolster the planet in some way, I think it was. I might got the story a little bit confused, but basically a mothership from the Pleiades came with a whole bunch of settlers to come settle the place and maybe help train the population how to regain their power after being through so long of enslavement or something like that. And the beings that were here already, most of them left, but some went underground to hide. They want to come out later and take over again, probably. So something like the Lyrans came to help enforce the edict like that, because when the Pleiadian ship showed up, the guys that were left here melted it in space, blew it up.
Yeah.
And all of the Pleiadian, most of them died, but a few of them survived in their drop ships.
Yeah.
Came down to the planet. And,
Australia.
In Australia, yeah. And all of the rest of the ship melted in space and dropped down onto the ground as tektites, which are melted glass from space with bubbles in them that are perfect spheres that could only form in hard vacuum, right? And the ship was so far up that it spread across 30% of the planet, this tektites. And they call it Australiites, something like that. And these were the Pleiadian ones. And that was 780,000 years ago. And the Leonites came to, Lyrians came to root out the underground baddie guys. And they used asteroids to destroy their spots. Oh. And at that same period of time, 780,000 years ago, somewhere in that neighborhood, asteroids hit the planet from different directions, which doesn't happen.
That's
apparently.
Interesting.
And they were different origin of asteroids. They weren't from the same place. The Lyrians gather space objects and redirect them to bombard the planet.
Wow.
And that all happened in 750,000 to 780,000 years ago. And that group of Pleiadians were not very well suited to the planet. So they did a little bit of genetic engineering on the existing hominins to create a more suitable body for the Pleiadian souls and the Pleiadians and the humans, and sort of bring them up or something like that. Might have got this story a little wrong, but essentially somewhere around 800,000 years ago to 750,000 years ago, that group of people came.
Right.
And the evidence to prove it is there. And all of the evidence in the gene is there, where they splice the genes and things like that.
Yeah.
So, as Bruce Fenton and his wife Diana, they wrote a couple of books about that.
Cool.
The true origin of humans.
Oh, yeah, so there's a lot of people who've written about that, haven't they?
They have.
They gathered, they organized, they met each other. And,
right,
yeah,
right.
They've learned about each other's stories, and they've written about it from their different perspectives, because all these people have started to have memories of that lifetime as Pleiadians who arrived on Earth, and also the colonists here.
By the way, Pleiadians like Subarus, you told me.
Yes. I actually read that somewhere. They like Subarus and tapioca.
Tapioca!
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
So if you like Subarus and tapioca, then you're
probably
Pleiadian.
Pleiadian.
It's awesome. I think it's great.
So, when we were listening, because I read the story to you a little bit at night when we go to bed, one of the things that was interesting, and I noticed there was a very big gap in the story, is the recognition of the soul body and the physical body. And the origin of the soul body isn't really talked about. It's just the physical body stuff.
That's very true.
The fact that the soul body is even a part of and a component of isn't really explained. It's almost like that's part of the separation game, is not knowing that part. I don't know.
Right.
So the part of human bodies, the ones that we're currently running around in, were GMO'd by Pleiadians 800,000 years ago. It totally ignores the part about, what about the soul bodies? Why you need a special GMO body to work in it, or what? What's going on with all that? Tweaked. There's like a gap of knowledge. There's a missing piece.
There's a missing link.
A missing piece, yes. Missing link.
Yeah.
Can you help fill it in a little bit?
Well, we have to talk about the origin of the humanoids, and also the human person who is a physical body and a soul combined. And then the story gets much larger, because it goes beyond this planet. And it goes beyond the physical universe, because souls are not original beings from this physical universe. That's why we need to join with a physical body to have an experience here.
Aha!
Okay, so the origin comes from outside of our physical universe.
It's sort of an extra dimensional experience.
Yes,
right?
multi-dimensional experience.
Aha, that's the one thing you remember. I remember, I think it was in The Return.
Yeah.
Talked about the fact that another group of humanoids who at one point in time fiddled with the humans on the planet or put ones there or created some in a nice little petri dish. The Anunnakis had no concept of the soul part or the multidimensional part, right?
Right.
So
they
they
don't
were
believe
tinkering.
it.
Yeah, they don't believe it. It's made up.
Because they don't have it. So they're just the physical body sentiency.
Right. So the multidimensional nature of DNA was a component of the DNA they had no idea was happening because you can't see it, touch it, measure it.
Right.
And the souls are from a multi or higher dimensional space. And the DNA at the multi-dimensional level and the souls at a multi-dimensional level, how did it manage to be like the Anunnakis did this and that happened to make a place where the souls can go in, or what?
What do you mean a place where souls can go in?
Inside
the body?
I guess so. The souls were
think about it
wandering
this way,
around
honey.
being a soul.
No, wait.
They're just running around being...
Wait.
Out of time, out of space, going
Wait,
everywhere. I'm blue.
Okay,
I'm over here blue. Okay, tell me.
No.
I'm waiting.
No, I'm not going to tell you now.
You have to tell everyone else, and I'll close my ears. Okay. Tell everyone.
So you're obsessed about how did you get a soul into a body, right?
Yes.
And how does it stay there?
And how do the
here's the thing.
tweak and make
are
happen?
you listening?
I'm listening.
Are you listening? Because this is important.
Yes. That includes
The
everyone
soul
else.
is not in the body. The body is in the soul.
Wow.
Ta-da!
I guess gotta let that sink in for a little while.
Yes. Mind blown.
I promise you tomorrow you will not remember that. And if you do, tell me on Walk With Me Now.
I will remember it.
Not you.
Not me.
Everyone that's listening. Okay, 24 hours after you've listened to this, go to Walk With Me Now on the thread. That's going to be the new podcast. And say, yes, Larry, I remember.
Okay.
Because I don't think you will.
Okay.
The body is in the soul?
Yes.
So...
how do you get a body into a soul is the actual question.
That's a much different question.
Yes.
Because, as a body-centric individual at the moment, you always think something else is in you because it's animating you in whatever way. At least that's how I conceive of it. But the other way around, the body's in the soul. I can't even imagine it. It's like a fish trying to describe water.
But water trying to describe fish.
Yeah, I suppose. Okay.
The fish is saying, the water's in me. How did the water get inside of me? No. You're inside the water, fish. You're inside the water.
So the soul containers might be an interesting concept for a while. I've never heard that described, but I can tell at a base level when you described the water and the fish in the water, that's a very good way of describing it, an analogy that a human mind can grasp. Otherwise it's ungraspable.
All right.
Because you consider a soul always as separate, and obviously there's a bit of separation involved in that description.
Yes, the illusion of separation.
Yes. Where you're thinking in the water, each drop of water is separate from each other drop of water in the ocean, and that's just not true.
I laugh when people say they're going to drop their meat suit. Because actually, no, they're not going to drop their meat suit. Their meat suit is dropping the soul suit.
Jeez. Okay, well, color me blown. Mind blown. I like that. Every once in a while, like sometimes every day, you can blow my mind. And look, Lucy has zero care in the world about that.
I know, she don't care. She cares more about her fleas.
gosh. I'm sure glad I get to know about the soul stuff.
Yeah. It's quite interesting. So yeah, I've been writing about this stuff since I was 14 years old. The first book did not get published. It's a really good book. I have no idea why I didn't bother. Okay, I know why I didn't bother publishing it. So I used to be this type of people who would write stuff, books, short stories and everything, and the writing was it. And then I would put them in a box and forget about them. And one day my mom came over and I just finished writing something. She said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Oh, I'm just writing something." And she said, "Can I see it?" And she read it and she was like that too, mind blown.
Jaw drop.
She says, "My God," because she was an avid reader. Her library, massive library, and she loved fantasy and she loved science fiction. And my gosh, whole room full of books. And here she had a writer as a daughter, and she was like, "Have you got any more?" I said, "Oh yeah, that box full of them." She says, "What?" Oh my gosh. So she said, "What are you going to do with it?" I don't know. I was put
it in a box.
I put it in a box. What do you want to do about it? She said, "Can I take the box?" And I said, "Because you're going to lose it, aren't you?" And I said, "Yeah, probably." So he said, "Can I take it?" And she said, "Sure, take it." So she took the box. And I think that's the box, part of that first chapter of that novel came from that box originally, I think. Because she put it onto her job. She got a typewriter, electrical typewriter, and one of the first computers that came out in the market in the 80s. And one of her goals was to type all the books up, because it was handwritten books. They were handwritten. I never typed them. I didn't have a typewriter or a computer, so I just write them out. So, yeah.
Interesting.
She took them.
And of course, that box is long lost now.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I don't know where that box went, but at least my brother saved one chapter of one of the novels and talks about the origin of the human species. And it was really, really good. I look at it now as an adult and think, my God, a 14-year-old wrote that.
And you weren't exactly a 14-year-old when you were 14.
Oh, well. So, yeah. I'm very fascinated about how people have forgotten, and they don't see or perceive or feel or sense the origin of the human species. I mean, some do, but
I
the majority don't.
In a session you had me look back at the origin.
Yes.
And I remember clearly seeing a Petri dish.
Uh-huh.
It was a scientific, mechanical type expression of going through the process of creating the
body,
gene, the body, the design, the components, the splicing together of multiple things. It was a lab thing, and it was for a purpose, and the purpose was pedestrian. It wasn't we're going to save the world or anything like that. Just need a thing to do this, and this thing will do that. Kind of a process, right?
And that question I would ask randomly to people, and for many, many years, dozens and dozens and dozens of people asked the same question out of the blue, and they would give the same answer. Right, the same answer. All but one person gave that answer. All but one. Isn't that fascinating?
That is pretty fascinating. What that other one come up with?
I think they were in the womb.
Oh, it was dark and watery.
Yeah, dark and watery.
A bit red, and it
got
sound like an engine running. Or Okay, so they kind of went to the beginning of I, Me, Myself.
Yes, I think so, yeah.
That happens.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I thought that was fascinating because at that time it was accessing information that's outside of my normal, regular, everyday get in my car and drive around life.
Yes.
It was connect with a deeper sense of something.
Yeah,
and let's see what we see.
Exactly, all this information, people have it. Your physical body remembers, and you as a soul person remembers.
Yeah, but
it's just a matter of remembering, bringing that information forth.
Excuse me, Lucy.
Lucy's making all those noises.
Yeah, I think she's very interested in the origin of human bodies because they bring food.
Yeah, more like, yes, trying to dig into the dog bag or the dog food bag in the back seat.
So, I suppose people will be interested to find out how they can access that information themselves.
Yeah. Well, for the time being, you can access it through books. I know my books will contain it.
Yeah.
And then you can also read that book that you've been reading to me. That's really fascinating. I like it.
It really does explore it from the level of, well, let's just take this premise, and then we're going to go explore and see if we can find anything that supports it or refutes it.
Exactly.
It's just collecting evidence and seeing how it matches or disproves the idea. Yeah. And the idea was a very, very strange idea, come from a stone in Australia that's named Altringa. This stone has a name, and within it has a memory. And if you can tap into the memory of the stone, it gives you a story. And when you read the Altringa story, it doesn't seem even remotely plausible. But if you were to take the story and then write another book, the other book is, let me go around the world and find if there's any evidence to support this far out story. Mm-hmm. And it turns out, literally everywhere you look, that comes up. The time is right, and the evidence to support a thing in space turning into liquid crystal and raining down on the planet, that's supported at the same time. And the other parts of the story, there's other asteroids came from different places, that's supported. And the giant flood and the ice cap, that's supported. I mean, all these
another
things.
little factoid is that planet Earth has had humans on it and human civilizations
multiple times
for millions of years, not just hundreds or even thousands of years, but millions of years.
Yep. And when you have a Earth-wiping event to clean the slate, nobody remembers and none of the evidence exists, and you wouldn't even look where it would be. Because if you believe planet is XYZ years old, people have been here for 50,000 years, you definitely don't go looking for people stuff 2 million years ago.
Exactly.
And if you found something 2 million years ago, you'd say, well, that's probably a mistake.
Yeah, somebody made it.
Doesn't fit the narrative.
Yeah. Or you shelve it because it doesn't fit.
What's your cat doing on the road?
Oh my gosh, our cat is on the road. Well, welcome to our home. We made it, honey.
Welcome to the res.
We made it.
Okay, end of the show.
End of the show.
And Brad no longer is a free spirit. He's got to go. Oh, it's Dora.
It's Dora. Yeah, I don't know what
are
she's
they
doing out there.
There must be a mouse or a bird or something in there.
Stop.
He's
not moving out of the way.
I see him. That's good. Okay, I'll stop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Our cats, they just don't get out of the way of the car.
They just flop down and come pet me.
Oh my gosh. Alright, I'll go and move the cats. Thank you everybody for joining us for another episode of Driving to the Red.
Yes.
Find me at ineliabenz.com.
Yes.
Find us with one of our tribes at walkwithmenow.com, and that's one of your tribes.
Yes, probably.
Definitely is.
Definitely.
Absolutely is.
There's probably no question.
Definitely.
It's most likely certain.
And for training, ibenzacademy.com.
Okay.
See you soon.
Bye.